Kamal, do you want to go first?
Let's go alphabetically.
Okay. I love it. Nothing changes from school. Okay, my name is Amne Sheikh Faruqi, and I've been involved with curating the WOW Festival since it started in Pakistan in 2016. My own background is in economic empowerment, and I do a lot of work in the inclusive cultural economy as well as on gender rights. I'm really excited to see so many of you here today, and just looking forward to answering any questions that you have, and hopefully lots and lots of wonderful applications. Olo, over to you.
Thank you, Amne. My name is Kaval Kusar, and I'm the Executive Director of Olomo Polo Media. And sitting next to me is
Vicky.
Vicky. She is my partner. And Olomo Polo Media, as some of you might know, and for the rest of you, it's a cultural enterprise. It's a creative enterprise, and doing theater and social intervention. And we've been around for 7 years. And as part of our festival since last year, like Essen told you, and really excited to be a part of the same festival this year as well. And of course, like Amne said, looking forward to your questions. And we feel really warm to see, most of the people that we had sent out this grant application to
Like we see
on
familiar
this.
faces.
Yeah.
Well, not
Here,
faces, names.
names really. So yeah, looking forward to your questions and to the eventual application.
So I guess we should begin with house rules and then we'll
Yeah,
start.
okay. So house rules aren't many. You can, ask questions regarding after SN has explained to you the application and what are the eligibility criteria and the rest of the things. Uh, you will have to use the raise your hand option, or you can, type your questions in the comments box, and somebody from the British Council will then unmute you, and then you can also, ask your questions here in the window, in the camera window as well. And we will answer your questions as curators. And if there is something regarding that only British Council can answer, of course, so we will be,
We're
helping
here to
you.
help you.
Exactly. So over to you, Esme.
Essen. Talha, I think Essen has fallen off.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody, just one moment. We also have lots of new people coming in, so.
You can, by the way, already start asking questions because you must have gone through the application uh, through the link that we had sent you. So if you have any questions, you can start.
You guys can start typing your questions on the comments, and until Essen comes back, if we know the answers, we will definitely talk to you about it. Ali Mazhar says, hi everyone, and Rama says, happy to be here.
Hi, Rama. So as an about we start answering the questions here. So Mahini, you can take, unmuting. If you want to ask questions here, we are being flooded with some comments. Yeah. Okay, so let me start reading the questions, and then you, Amne, I can direct some questions to you in case you.
Yes, absolutely, Kawal. Go for it.
Rama is saying that can a digital entity apply? Would you like to take this question?
Sure, Rama. I guess for us, what's really important, I think the note kind of describes that, is the fact that we're looking to work with creative people who are in the arts and cultural space, who are looking to use these mediums, and it's a bunch of mediums, really anything you can think of, that would address the gender outcomes that have been highlighted. So one of the key parts of the application is that you have to meet at least one, if not more, of the gender outcomes. So if you have any questions about how that might work with what you're thinking of, please feel free to ask.
Okay, there's a question that where do they send their applications to? What email address? The same email address that's been given on British Council website?
The link is provided over here. You can just check it on.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the request for application.
Yeah.
It's at the bottom of that, but it's also, we can type it out here before. I'll type it out now.
Thank you, Amne. So that was a question sent to us by Suhail Ahmed. And Sama Akhtar is asking, the deadline for visual film content is the 15th of February. This means that any content curated for the purpose of this grant has to be submitted for pre-approval by that. I guess your concept of what you're making has to be, of course, has to be clear enough in the application first. And if you've been, if your application will be approved, then of course the idea will be given a go ahead right there. And yeah.
So one of the things that we're exploring, and perhaps it's a little early to be talking about this, but is the fact that we could be using some of these as, showcase some of the products that come out of this during the WOW Festival itself. And to be able to do that, we would love to be able to help you fine tune your products in a way that they fit.
Can an individual apply, or is it just for NGOs, Amne?
Individuals can apply. We're very open to that. So you can be an individual or an organization, but you have to be based in Pakistan. So unfortunately, this isn't a project that you can work with diaspora on.
Yeah, and regarding the NGO aspect, I guess, companies and organizations that aren't NGOs can also apply. Yes, Amne?
Yes, absolutely. I don't think we have any restriction on what your legal status is at all.
Yeah. So the application form says deadline is a deadline, not March. Okay. So Rafiq Jafar, no, the submissions have to be around film and other, let's say, media have to be completed around the 15th of February. The festival itself is going to take place in March, and if there is an activity that is supposed to take place face to face, only that will take place in March. Yeah. I emailed inquiring. Okay, so Meher Jafi is asking, I had emailed inquiring whether short films were acceptable and heard back that it is okay. Just say that there is a separate deadline for film, February rather than March. Is that correct? Yes, Amne?
Yes, it is. So again, for the same reasons that we just talked about, we want to make sure that we're able to support you in developing the product in a way that it can go out to many more audiences and really get you that traction that you're looking for. And also, obviously, touching on all our gender outcomes.
So, Amne, please, one more question you have to help us with. Does the piece need to be digital? What if it is an interactive installation?
So I think the reason we focus on digital is obviously, as you can imagine, because of COVID, and we want to be very cognizant of our social responsibility, looking at not encouraging people to gather, following SOPs. Having said that, we do understand that certain forms of art will require at least some degree of physicality or in-person. Even to record a performance, for example, you need some people there to actually do the performance. So I think that's a dialogue that can be had. Some installations, if you feel that this will not be on crowds and we don't want people traveling from one part of the country to the other. And yeah, this is mostly because of COVID. Otherwise, there were no issues. Is that okay, Kawal?
Yeah, but again, I'm saying that, like you said, that if there is something that inevitably involves, some activity, then I guess we can make an allowance for
Yes, we would look at that on a case-to-case basis, I guess. Yeah.
why not. So all kinds of, yes, let's say activities are encouraged. So one of the
Yes.
outcomes in my mind, Rama is asking, one of the outcomes in my mind is behavioral change. How would you like us to show you the numbers?
Ooh, if you can do that, then can you please do the festival for us next year? No, on a serious note, that's a really hard one to do. Again, we're not approaching this with a particularly very fixed idea of how people are going to do things. The idea is to allow people to be as creative as they want to be. If you want to look at behavior change, we should be able to help you with some simple tools. And again, we can cross that bridge when we get to it.
Cool. Saad Sheikh is asking if the global pandemic calms down, can we host something physically? That is a free festival open for all. I am not sure if the pandemic will cool down really, and the festival will be, let's say spread over 3 days, and that to a physical festival. So we understand, Saad, of course, you being a dancer and such a great artist, but I guess something that's digital will be more encouraged. But for recording purposes, like Amna said, that's something that inevitably, involves some in-person activity. Then, of course, if digital curation is taking place, does it have to be a live exhibit of the digital showcase? It's an important question, Amne. Or can it be submitted as a final exported document in a film form?
We are open to both. As a matter of fact, I think an exported film form works really well because then we can we don't have to worry about connectivity issues, and going live is not easy for everybody. But we're open to both. Obviously, there's no bar on this.
Yeah, and I would say whatever conveys or makes the project more effective and conveys the essence more, let's say, in a true fashion. If an individual has, Vicky, would you like to take this?
I think
we are allowing only one person to apply only once.
I think it's best if you focus on one of the projects that you feel the most connected with, and the one that you feel the most impact. Mainly because the deadline for the proposal is very close. So I mean, this would be a personal thing that I would let you know. Like, it is better if you focus on just one project that you think is going to work. Like, it is the project.
Yeah. And by the way, I guess this was mentioned in the application.
Yeah.
One person can apply only once.
Only once, yeah.
Here's Zubairi's question, and let me now see. Hajra Ansar is asking, can the filmmakers apply? What are the requirements?
So we would love for filmmakers to reply. I don't know if I can give a more enthusiastic response on film than that, but I guess the requirements are the same as everybody else. You need to meet the gender outcomes, and you need to be able to do the activities that meet the protocols or SOPs for COVID. So we're not looking at too many in-person activities, and so therefore film is a great medium for that. Absolutely can apply.
And why not?
The question, can individuals apply, or is it just for NGOs? It's open to everyone. There is no limit to an individual or an NGO. Anybody can apply.
I see that Sabah Farhan has your hand raised. If you could unmute yourself and
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, I am Sabah Farhan. I am co-founder of Robotronics Pakistan, and we are the STEM-based education institute. So I want to know that can a STEM-based company apply for that grant? As we are also working for the girls in the skill development, like app development and games and animation. So I want to know about that.
Thank you.
Understand.
So you said that, a Pakistan-based organization? Is that what you said?
Tech-based.
Tech-based?
I think
Yeah,
this what Essen just said, that it is this application is open to all.
Okay.
So even if it's a tech organization, it can definitely apply. Next question is by Amir. So I'm working with collecting narratives from Pakistani women who experienced the 1971 Liberation War. I have made one short film. Will this fit into the ambit of the digital grant?
Okay.
I think yes. Right cover, Turkey?
I'm
I
saying
mean,
that, in terms of subjects that we want to cover, of course, there is no limit.
All right.
Is there a specific demographic of women you would like to impact? No, there isn't any.
Any specific?
Women or anybody who identifies as women, that's who we want to impact.
Yeah. Amir.
All right,
Okay.
we've already answered that. Any other questions by anyone, or should we head back to SN so he
Did
can do what he
Anina,
Hold,
rules
I see
does the piece need to be digital
Rafiq
or
Jaffer.
is it an interactive installation?
SN, we've done the questions on the last one now.
Okay, great.
So yeah, Osman Q is asking, is it mandatory that the participating organization is a locally registered legal entity with NTN, etc.?
I'll let SN take that one actually.
That's
SN, could you please?
Yeah.
Yes. It needs to be, the organization needs to have an NTN, or the individual also needs to have an NTN.
Registered. Does it have to be locally registered also, SN? Or could it be a private side?
So it can be a sole proprietorship, but it needs to have an NTN.
Okay, cool.
I think if I may
Someone
add to what
studying in the
sorry, this is Talha from the British Council. I just wanted to add something to what SN just responded with to the question. I think if whoever the applicant is, if the applicant is an organization, but if they were to receive the grant, if they were successful in receiving the grant, but they're not registered, for example, XYZ organization that applied is not registered and doesn't have an NTN number or a bank account, and an individual wants to receive money against that, then that might be a problem. So if your organization is not registered with an NTN number, then maybe don't apply with its name and apply as an individual. Whatever entity, individual or organization is has an operational bank account and has an NTN number, that's the name they should apply with. Thank you.
all right. Rafiq Jaffer, I see that you raised your hand. If you could unmute yourself and ask your question, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Rafiq Jaffer from the FAZ Foundation. And we are in the process of planning a digital festival in February, which is the month when FAZ was born. And right now we are in the preliminary planning phase, and we always have components related to gender in every festival that we've had. So what we're thinking is that there are some activities which we might have a part of our festival, and could those activities, for example, if we want to have a play which is focused on women issues in the festival, could that be part of this application?
That's a really interesting question. And Talha, perhaps you can comment on this, because I think there might be other people who want to create a product or an offering that they use across platforms. And what do we feel about that?
If I heard your question right, sir, you mean to ask if you can apply for an activity which will be part of another festival, or which will be part of another event which is branded in a differently than WOW. I'm not sure right now. Can we park that question and we can come back to you on it in a couple of days maybe?
Okay, I just want to give you an example. In the last festival, there's an organization called STO, and they funded an activity of the festival which was part of their own agenda of a donor activity. So it was on tolerance and religious freedom and belief. So we planned the activity for them and made it a part of the festival. So they sponsored that. We put up their logo and stuff, and we call it a win-win situation.
Sure.
Sir,
Thank you for sharing that example as well. But I think from my end, I think from the British Council, then we'll still have to get back to you. But let's hear what Kamal Khusat is
yeah.
responding.
So, sir, like we've been discussing prior to this webinar also, so a similar question has been asked to us earlier this day as well, and how we thought that we could answer such questions was like we would like to, as WOW Festival, we would like to keep the right of first showcase or the exhibition of the product at our festival first, and then of course the intellectual property is going to remain artists or the producers, whoever are going to make that project with them, and then they can utilize it wherever and whenever they would like to, as long as they would acknowledge WOW Festival's contribution, WOW Foundation's contribution, and British Council's contribution to the project. So in your case, of course, it's an interesting kind of a situation here. We'll have to again discuss it amongst ourselves, but as per my understanding, you will, since your festival is going to take place in February, which is going to be prior
Yeah.
when takes place, we will have to discuss and then get back to you with more clarity on it.
Okay, so I will wait for a final answer from you. Is that right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right.
Nonetheless, as a last bit to the answer, we would really like, okay, in meanwhile, if the deadline is, let's say, pretty close, we can apply for it.
Okay. So I hope that answers the question for now. Hadra Answer says, can someone who is studying in the UK currently but is from Pakistan apply?
So I think it's really unfortunate, but I think we do want people to be physically in Pakistan. And if you're developing a team with people who are here, even if they're of Pakistani origin and they're somewhere else in the world, that's not ideal.
There's a question from Maham
Yeah.
from Capital.
Yeah.
Is the application open to community spaces hosting regular support groups for women or the local events and activities aimed at women empowerment? So this was somehow mentioned in the application as well. The activities that you are applying for could be an ongoing thing as well, Amit.
So the activities are kind of like, as Kaval said in response to the earlier question, that if it was a performance or a particular piece of training or something that you've developed, you can absolutely use it over and over. But for the purposes of this grant, the activity needs to be completed by March. So it can't be that you submit a grant for something that goes on for like 6 months, because it's not that long a duration. And secondly, I think when you're talking about hosting regular support groups, I'm assuming you mean in person. Again, we're hoping for something which is using technology or digital platforms to reduce the number of people that are gathering in one space, especially if they're gathering regularly.
Cool. And let's move on to Nirmal.
Yeah. So after Nirmal, we will talk to Saad.
So Nirmal is saying, while applying for a short film, are we required to submit a screenplay or treatment alongside the application? I guess yes, because only that will help us understand your concept and the idea more.
And
So I would say a
Saad
synopsis
should-
and treatment.
Yeah, I think Saad should
Saad.
unmute now.
Yeah, Saad.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi guys, this is Saad. I don't know how to switch on my camera. It requires a setting, so I'm hoping this could help. So, initial idea was to curate a 3-day festival that could be a hotspot for people to understand, which could possibly host talks, film festivals, music, dance, everything, right? Predominantly focusing on women and trans women. But now, if we're looking at the digital showcase or a digital exhibit, it does answer my question that I have to submit it in film form. I'm trying to form a Lahore City Choir, which does have women, it does have trans people, but it also has men. I just want to know, I just want to be sure that my chances of elimination are not high if the men, there's a percentage of men who are also being involved in the process as participants.
We don't have a problem with any men participating, as long as I said, men are part of the gender conversation, an important part. So, I mean, it's interesting that people always think we're talking about women. It is a women's festival, obviously, but we're also open to discussion on the gendered impacts on men. But men as audiences is never a problem because they need to consume this content.
Thank you. Thank you. It does answer my question.
Anam's asking, speaking of branding, what does the grant require for successful branding for WOW and British Council branding? SN or Tala, if you would like
Successful
to.
applicant.
I'm not sure I understand this question fully. I was looking at it a while ago also. Maybe we can give Anam a chance to elaborate on it.
So Anam, please.
Are you there? Do you mind elaborating?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I meant that if a project is successfully granted, what are the branding requirements from WOW and British Council, like in terms of your guys' visibility in the project?
I really don't know how to answer that, but we don't need, I mean, really depends on what kind of project you have in mind that you wish to apply for. But really, if you're just presenting something online, if let's say if it's an installation of mixed media, or if it's a if it's a talk or whatever it may be, we don't necessarily need it to be branded. But let's say it's some other kind of visual content like a film or something, then obviously in the end credits or the begin credits in the beginning, we might discuss with you, if you are successful in getting a grant, how your content would be branded. So I'm not sure how to really answer that right now, but if, as our curators were saying a while back, we expect or hope that most of the things that come out of these grants will be part of the hybrid WOW festival that we will be having in the beginning of March. And if it is, then we will put it somewhere in the program of the festival, and it gets branded under the umbrella of WOW, and then you may not need to worry about branding on your end. You just need to work on your product and sort of hand it over to us, and we brand it as we brand the entire festival.
So Suhail Ahmed is asking, if it is submission in the category of films or visual media, are we supposed to attach the script along with the form? So Suhail, we kind of, answered such a question before as well. So the answer is you just have to add, let's say, the synopsis and the treatment, and not the entire script with the application form.
All right. Are there any questions?
Any more?
Anything you guys want to say? We hand it back to SN.
Thank you. If we have no other questions, is there anything? Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Oh, there is one just now.
So Samartha is asking, is there a preference of visual over written content or vice versa? Is there a preference of any medium?
No, we don't have any preference. I guess the only thing that I've been reflecting on this as we've been talking is we would obviously like to showcase a spectrum of mediums and not weight it towards one. Having said that, I think it's the overall application that counts. We're not biased towards any medium over the other.
Yeah, it is the idea that's going to be considered supreme and at our end, and not really the form or the medium.
Okay, then.
There's people still entering, so should we leave the forum open for more questions?
Sure.
I don't see any raised hands.
Yeah, there's another question here. Okay, so Osama is asking about the created content rights. Will it be the property of the content creator or dash dash dash? Dot.
I love the
Would you
ominous
like
dots.
to take-
I love the ominous dots, but there's no ominous takeover. It will belong to the creator, is my understanding. And as Kaval said, we just want the rights to the first showcase. So, and possibly some acknowledgement that this was done, later. For example, if it's printed material or graphics, a comic or something like that, perhaps a line at the back just acknowledging that this grant supported this work. But absolutely, it's your creation. It belongs to you. And in the long run, we'd love to see you using it.
Just to add to that, the IP is obviously the creators, but we at the British Council may, as Amna said, she said once, but we may use it multiple times on the WOW platform.
Yeah, sorry, I should have been clearer.
Okay, Fazil says, hi, so I have a question. Can we explore the concept of freedom and agency for women in Pakistan through the religious angle, or would it be too sensitive?
It's really interesting. It is going to be an interesting discussion, of course, but we would like to see how you're going to, let's say, treat the whole thing. If the idea is going to, let's say, bank upon sensationalism, then of course not. But if it is around sensitization and, religion is, of course, a sensitive matter, and we would like it to be treated really delicately and with a lot of heart, I would say. We do not want to discourage any such idea, but let's say how artistically and aesthetically well are you going to handle it, will be our concern.
And if I may add to what Kamal just said, I think in your application, if you were to provide us as much clarity and detail, elaborate on your idea, and as she said, on how you plan to handle the sensitivity around the religious angle, if you can put as much detail in your application, it would really help us and help you maybe. Yeah, thank you.
Sabah has hands raised, so if she could kindly unmute.
I just want to know that as you have stated that the festival is in March, and we being as the STEM-based institution, and we have the STEM-based project, so how we can exhibit that project in the festival?
Vicky, could you?
Is it something that does it have like a specific number of people that you want to take care of, like at a particular time, for example?
Yes.
This is a question regarding the physicality of having an exhibition. So
as long as the SOPs are being followed, but it's not just about that. It's also about ensuring that how it would require some supervision on, I guess, on our part as well.
But again, it has to be clear in the proposal what exactly the activity and what exactly the exhibition is, in order for it to, for us to see how will it be executed, obviously.
And how integral is it to the concept execution?
Hmm.
Okay.
All right. Jillian says hi.
I just want to know
If
that the
Sorry.
exhibition is virtual.
The exhibition would be virtual, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Also, if I
Sabha.
may just add to our collective answer to Sabha, I think even if you wish to have a physical exhibition, and ideally you would really like for it to, for people to come and visit it physically, just always think of, this is for everybody really, just always think of a digital showcasing option for whatever your product may be, even if it's not necessarily in its element a digital project or what you may call a digital project, but always think of how you might share it digitally or online with people, because we still don't
Hi
know where
everyone.
COVID will be taking all of
So
us and what
our
the situation
project
might be
is
in March.
digital, and we will finish it in around 2 months. But how we can exhibit in the festival? That's what I'm asking. Yeah, we just record the video and then I think we will.
Yeah, essentially, there could be a virtual tour that you could
Yeah,
record,
yeah.
which we could share with everybody.
All right. I hope that answers your question, and we're going to move on to the next questions here. There are two more questions here. Jillian says, hi, the application has strict word limits in the form. Can we attach extra documents to discuss the project in more detail? I think that's a more technical side of the form. That is something that Talha or Ahsan, if you guys could.
I would still suggest that we keep it as precise and brief as possible, but Ethan, what do you think?
I would just say that if you think that more documents, again, are going to help your case, then I guess you can. But if you can keep it as concise and precise, I think that is the key of keeping the word limit. But sure, if you think that your extra documents may just help your application, then by all means.
So let's move on to Tanzila. Can the project be, can the project be about an institute or on disability sensitization, like an MOOC?
Available for everyone and run online live as well.
Amni, why not?
I mean, absolutely. So, Tanzila, I think we're just open to anything which at least launches at WOW and is that at least piloted the whole bit. I know you're looking at a longer term piece of work when you talk about this, but digital sounds great. Available for everyone sounds great. No complaints on this side.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Let's move on to the next
All
question.
right. Let's have Anaya unmute herself and speak. And then we'll get and then we'll speak to Nirmal.
Hi Vicky, sorry I'm late.
No problem. Please go on.
Okay. So I'm so sorry I couldn't open the link as well.
Sure. So do you have any question, Anaya, regarding the application?
The question is, okay, do I need to upload all the links and the videos for this grant, like the documentaries and the Tisri Dhan and the other research work? Do I need to put all of that?
For what part?
To submit my application. I didn't open the link. I'm so sorry. I will tonight.
Suggest you go through the application first, and there are some questions asked at the end of the application, and you can elaborate on your previous work, your idea, and how do you want to execute your idea. So once you have gone through that, I'm sure it will answer most of your concerns. As far as the links to your previous works
Sure.
are concerned, of course, in the about section in the project, you can totally give the links there.
Yeah, if any
Sure.
of your previous work
चलें ठीक है
is
फिर then I'll go through
relevant
it and then
and yeah, I was just saying if any of your previous work is relevant and will strengthen your application and is somehow connected to what you're proposing to do out of this grant money, then create hyperlinks and include them to any of your videos. Thank you.
So we will speak.
thank you.
We're going to go to Nirmal now. So it says, is there any condition regarding what percentage of total budget for the short film can grant cover? I don't think there is.
Does it need to be, sorry, what?
Is there any condition regarding what percentage of total budget for a short film can a grant cover?
A grant.
Nope.
No.
That's what the grant is for. You can use all of it, some of it, as you like, right, Kaval?
Yeah, of course, of course. And, I was going to say that the minimum amount of this grant is £2,000 and the maximum is 5,000, of course. So you make a budget of your film. I'm sure you already have that. So you see, however you would like this grant to be used in the production plan of your film.
All right. I hope that answers. And Maham says, Maham again, just to quickly confirm. Does it need to be a singular activity / project, or is this open to a series of activities with the objective of promoting gender equality if we're applying as a cultural platform, for example?
Amna, please.
So I think, I'm just going to be honest and speak really transparently. So when we were designing this, our original intent was definitely a singular activity that was either a past activity that could be digitized or some new piece of work that you want to do during this period. Having said that, I don't think we're closed off completely to any idea. If you're thinking of a series or some kind of progression of events, the first phase of it, or there needs to be one complete that happens by March. So that we're not looking for something which just launches and there's no results. We're definitely looking for a complete part of the product. And if this leads to future work, that's fantastic. So I guess I could just caveat by saying that we're open to it, but we do need it to be a cohesive piece, whatever is being submitted, even if it's part of a phased approach to whatever you want to do.
Okay, Umar says, hi, Naru here. Could the project be an original theatre play? If so, A, what are the deadlines for submitting the first draft? Can we develop the script / play after submitting the application? B, is there a language requirement?
Okay, I guess I'll take this question. So what we require in the application is the synopsis treatment of the idea only, and not the entire script like we iterated a while before as well. Of course, then, throughout the pre-production and the design phase of the project, we are going to be there with you, helping you, or maybe, just being by your side, developing the project, evolving the project, and of course, like you said that, if the script has to be developed after the submission, yes, of course, that's a possibility. And is there a language requirement? Not really. So even if it is not in Urdu and in a regional language, Amne, I guess that, we don't have any such restrictions.
No, I might clap harder for a regional language if I'm being truly honest, but yeah, we're open to anything, English, Minglish, Urdu, Seraiki, whatever you want to do.
Exactly. So we may ask you to maybe if there's going to be a digital, let's say, showcase of the production, then, maybe some subtitles could be added to it for, let's say, a broader comprehension of the thing.
Yeah, if I may add, I think we would really like, there is no bar to the language that you may wish to, conduct your play in, but we would like transliteration by you in English, at least. So whatever language you're using, we would like you to submit a transliterated script in English with it, which we can then use as subtitles. Thank you.
Sama Akhtar is asking, this may be premature, but will the amount for the grant be dispersed prior to production execution?
Good. Let's
SN, Talha, anybody from British Council?
Hopefully, yes, it will be dispersed prior to the production.
Yes, we'll do our best to give away the grant funds as soon as possible once the successful applicants are chosen, and as long as it takes us to complete any paperwork. So make sure on your end, your NTN number, your bank account, all of that is sorted. The more sorted it is, the less time it will take us to disperse the grant amounts.
So yeah, some more people have joined the conversation. If you have any questions, you can type it in the comments box, or maybe use the raise your hand on the toolbar and let us know. Sama Akhtar has raised her hand.
Hi, so can I proceed with my question?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we are in the process of getting ourselves registered. We're halfway there. Our NTN is pending, but we have a company that is acting as our parent company. So is it all right if we apply with, our own name and everything, and then the NTN that we provide is for our parent company, and then we mention their details as well?
Sama, no, that is not going to be possible. So basically how the grants work is that the person applying, either they put forward their own the company name or they receive it as an individual. It cannot, so if you as Sama Akhtar are applying from propaganda, then the money will go to propaganda. It can't go to another organization.
All right, thank you.
Also, one other thing, for all scripts, filmmakers, documentaries, the scripts, like Kamal had earlier discussed about the religious sensitivity. Again, if those can be less, as in apolitical and less on profanity, etc.
Actually, no profanity at all. Thank you. Also, if I may just add to some British Council values that we need to follow. We will also not be able to support LGB content. Yeah. If it thematically, if it's about transgenders, that would be fine, but not LGB. Thank you. Sorry, but we just have some limitations.
Any questions? All right, I'm just going to see if anyone has raised their hand. Doesn't seem like it. Ibrahim.
So Ibrahim has a question. Can one applicant apply with 2 project pitches? If not, can there be a way around it? Let's say if I need to pitch a theater play and a short film idea, do I need to go with one, and can someone else from my team apply as the head of one of the projects? Vicky.
Okay, somebody also asked that recently before I think Ibrahim joined. So because first of all, the grant itself says that you should only apply once, and secondly, because the deadline is really close by, I would suggest that you focus on the one that you believe in the most.
I hope, Ibrahim, this helps you understand our criteria.
Yes, ouch. I'm sorry, but yeah, I think it's best if you focus on something that you believe more and something that you think will have more impact at this moment.
Also, I was going to say, I think it's really important that I know everybody comes from the arts and cultural space and gets really excited about showcasing their work. Please don't forget that this grant is very focused on the gender outcomes. So it's not just about how beautifully you do your work, it's also about hitting that point. So perhaps, Ibrahim, if there's one within those two that you feel will do better on that outcome, then that should be the project you would choose.
So Sama is saying, can a company submit its application citing its parent company? Okay, we've already answered this question,
we've
haven't
already
we?
done
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I feel like we have.
Yeah. So we are going to entertain only one application from any organization, any one organization, or any individual. Applying with more proposal pitches is not going to help your case, like Amne said. Whatever we think, or we deem better at delivering the gender outcomes out of your pitches is going to be considered.
Also, because I see there's a lot of individuals considering applying. I know some of us don't have our NTN sorted. And as Essen said earlier, that will be critical to how fast the British Council can disperse funds if you are selected. It's a civic responsibility, guys. Apply now. It takes a week. You'll be readier for anything, not just this grant, if you have it. So just get that documentation started. You can apply for it online.
So are there any more questions?
End it.
Any more questions or anyone's question that we may have missed that they may have put in the comments at the beginning of the webinar, especially?
So is Naru again. Could the project be an original theatre play? Oh, we've answered this question.
Yeah, I'm just
Sure.
scrolling back up to see if we have anything.
Okay. Original theatre production sound fancy.
Her ears are tingling now. Ooh. I guess there are no questions for now. I'm sure there will be more. I am going to hand this over to Talha for any final words. Oh, I see somebody.
Ignore it, it's me. I'm just putting down the email address where people have to send applications. I'm doing it one more time because I feel like it got lost in the questions. Sorry, Vicky.
No issues. I'll read that out. Just type it. All right. So everyone send your applications to wowpk@britishcouncil.org. And we are excited to hear. We are really excited to hear what you guys have to want to do. And yeah, I'm going to hand it over. I'm going to pass the baton on to Talha for some final words, and then you guys can have a nice evening to yourselves.
I just thought I'll just put on my video also. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this immense amount of interest in this grant offer. That's very exciting itself. Thank you so much for your interest, and thank you for taking out time to join. Thank you for posing questions to us that were, I'm sure not just helpful to yourself, but to also other people interested in applying for the grant. We would like to thank our curators, Kamal Khusat and Vicky from Olam Apollo Media, and Amne Sheikh from Entrepreneurship Community Development Institute. And also my other colleagues at the British Council. Thank you for everyone who joined. Send in your entries to wowpk@britishcouncil.org, WOWPK@britishcouncil.org. Sorry, Vicky?
What's the deadline?
What is the deadline? You tell me.
30th November.
30th November, guys, it is. So please hurry up.
30th November, and guys, unfortunately, it's not midnight. We've been terribly sneaky. It's 11 p.m. Pakistan time, 30th November. As somebody who's perennially waiting for 11:59, my sympathies are with you.
All right, then. I guess this is goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for coming. Best of luck.
Best of luck.
Bye-bye.
Amna, I can still see you.
We were doing like a team thing after. I'm so sorry. Bye-bye then. Okay.
Are we doing a team thing?
Apparently not. It's just, yeah, never mind. Chalo, I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.